Hello, welcome or welcome back. We are back with another video today, and today's theme we are looking at work or business. So you might be self-employed, you might be an employee, you might be unemployed, you might be a business owner. Regardless, this one's for you. We are looking at what's coming up next at work, and we will have 3 different groups, which I always refer to as piles. So there's no point me saying group because I will immediately start saying pile 1 when I start doing the reading, and then everyone will be confused. So let's start calling it that from the beginning. So we've got 3 lovely piles to choose from, each with their own totem for today. We have pile 1, which has the red Chinese dragon, which is associated with good fortune and money. Very good for all matters of business, very powerful omen there. If that one resonates for you, then pile 1 will be for you. Pile 2, we have this absolutely gorgeous black stallion. He's made of obsidian, so he's a crystal black stallion. So absolutely stunning, and he's here to guide pile 2. Then pile 3, we have this beautiful ocean Jasper wise turtle, here to guide you on your path for pile 3. So take a moment, see which one resonates for you. You can, of course, pick more than one pile. If none of them resonate, you can watch all of them, or maybe this isn't the reading for you because there aren't always messages for everyone. But it can be interesting to watch all of them just to see if there are any little snippets that come through that you think, oh, that was a message for me. So timestamps are in the description below, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, my pile 1s. So you have chosen the Chinese dragon. This is an interesting animal to have here, or spirit perhaps, because this is very, very fortuitous for business. It represents great strength and success, but can also be very unlucky in love. So it's possible that your relationships and your work life may be clashing at the moment, or one may be causing problems for the other. So for some of you that could be the case, but very fortuitous, very powerful symbol. So I think we're going to get some very interesting messages here, and I think there's some very powerful themes in your work life at the moment as well. There is a possibility for great success, but also great falls if you're not careful, I want to say. The tarot deck I've chosen for you is the Wise Cat Tarot, which you see it's got little stars and planets on. So there's definitely some messages coming in from off-world for you as well. You may identify as a starseed, or you may have been told, you know, that you originate on another planet, something like that, that your soul is originally from another planet. I don't mean your body, that would be weird. Although, who's to say? So we're going to have a look at this today, see what messages we've got, see what's going on, what's coming up next in your work life, what advice your guides have for you as well. So let's see what's next in work life for pile 1. All right. Ace of Swords. Wow. That's a strong start with some clarity coming through with the Ace of Swords. 6 of Swords, moving on to better things. Okay. 4 of Swords, taking a bit of a break. This is a lot of swords. So we're staying very much in the mental realm here with the swords. And the 5 of Cups. Oh, okay. So the 5 of Cups can be a little bit disappointing as well. So it could be that you've been disappointed with the opportunities that have been presented to you. And this card wants to come out. Did you see it slide out then by itself? So I will have to take that at some moment because it's bothering me. Very interesting. So for some of you, you may have fairly recently gained some clarity in your position at work or in your business, or maybe you've already quit a job and you've seen that it wasn't quite right, because the sword from the Ace of Swords can also be for cutting ties with something, for putting an end to something, putting something to bed, because it gives you that clarity, that clear vision, and that understanding of what's really going on and what's really right for you, which is a very powerful position to be in. Aces are also about new beginnings as well, so it does feel very much like a change is on the cards for you, whether it's at the same company, in your same position, or whether it's moving on to something completely different, because the 6 of Swords is about pastures new. It's about moving somewhere else. So there could be a literal move, it could be going to another country, moving house, moving to a different part of your country, perhaps, or it could just be moving on and up. Onwards and upwards to bigger and better things. It's always improvement comes with the 6 of Swords. So that's a very hopeful sign to see. Very lovely when that comes out. So it feels like a very intentional move, not like something that's happened by accident. It feels like you were very clear about what you want, or you were very clear about what you wanted, and you're either working towards or will soon be on this new shore if you're not already. So with the Four of Swords, that is about rest, and it is about rest after working extremely hard as well. And they are all double-edged swords as well. So it may be that you've been struggling with stress at work, or perhaps maybe with poor health because of your work and tiredness. As I'm filming this, we are actually coming into the winter now. We're in autumn, so it is sniffles season. It is the season where people get a bit unwell because we have less vitamin D from the sun, we have less sunlight, we have more artificial light, we have more artificial heating and dust and static, and less fresh air. And certainly less fresh fruits and vegetables for a lot of people. So it is more of an unhealthy season. So there could be some issues to do with your health which are forcing you to make this change that might have forced your hand sooner than you were ready for, sooner than you wanted to. But it is a good omen. It is fortunate. But it does feel very much like a well thought out decision with all of the swords here. You're very much in your mind about this. You've been thinking about it. You're thinking your way through this situation, whether you've moved already or you're planning to make the move. This is well thought out, and I think it will go well for you. And I think it is important and necessary as well. And I'm looking at the numerology at the bottom of these cards here. Now, these ones are in Roman numerals. So we've got I1, VI 6, IV 4, and V for 5. Now, there's some very interesting symmetry going on here. So 6 and 4 are mirroring each other as VI and IV. So literally mirroring each other there. And on the other sides, we have the V and the I. So, so it actually says IVI, IVV. I don't know why that's making me laugh so much, but it does seem significant that we have, I'm getting the word parallel. There's some parallels here to another situation. So maybe there's some parallels in your own life with somebody else's or with a previous situation that you've been in. But there is this gorgeous symmetry here, which is symbolic to me of a mirror image of something being shown to you, being mirrored back, the truth being mirrored back to you. But I do want to come to this Five of Cups as well, which is kind of a bit of an outlier because we've got 3 swords and then 1 cup. Well, 5 of them actually, 5 cups, but 1 cups card. And this can be a card of disappointment, perhaps on focusing on the negatives as well and not seeing all the blessings in the situation. Now, normally in the 5 of Cups, you have 3 of them that are upturned and 2 that are still standing. And this can be about focusing on the negative rather than looking at the blessing. But here it's a little bit different. See, our little cat guide has already washed up the cups and hung them up for you to dry. So it feels like you're ready to go. Any seeming negatives here will not last for very long with this cat guiding the way. He's up on his little mountain top here to show you how to get past any difficulties and how to get past any struggles that you might face. So there may be a few obstacles moving on to this better situation, work situation, business situation. But it's really nothing you can't handle because the cat has already dumped out all these cups and gone, yep, we're good to go. I've dealt with it. So I feel like your spirit team, your guides, the universe are making sure that the path is clearer than you might be expecting it to be. You might be expecting it to be a journey up this hill. So you're reaching your new, you're in your little boat, you're reaching your new land here, and you have to climb up a very, very steep hill. So it looks like a bit of a climb. It looks like a bit of a challenge. But this cat's already on top of the hill waiting for you saying, I've got this, don't worry. So there's a lot of reassurance coming through here from your spirit guides, and I'm feeling that's really quite positive. Yeah, so don't fall into the trap of getting stuck in your head about this one, because this feels like it has been very much a mental exercise, something that, although emotionally you may have wanted to do, it has been a logical step, or it will be a logical step for you, and your mind is leading the way here, but that's okay. Excuse me, that's okay, hiccuping. This last card wanted to come out. We've got another sword. It's the Page of Swords this time. Okay, so pages generally are a little bit younger. It's a younger energy. It's a student energy. It represents needing to learn something new, but also learning the truth about situations as well. And these cats here seem to be learning how to fly through the clouds with their little sword. So this is a journey of learning, absolutely. And it comes in with a number 11 as well, a very sacred number. So it feels like this shift or this change is going to come in with some spiritual knowledge, spiritual learning for you. Although I think the change in the decisions have been very rational ones, or will be very rational ones if you haven't done it already. I feel there is a real spiritual edge to this, some spiritual lessons for you to glean from this entire situation. And I think you will be very pleased with it, because these cats are literally jumping over the moon. So it's like, I want to say over the moon, feeling over the moon about it, feeling very positive, and the clouds parting for you. And you whizzing through like this shooting star, or perhaps this comet, cat comet, a cat comet coming through here. So yes, I'm liking this very much. I do also like the fact that the swords in this deck are pink on the edges, because that's a very gentle, loving colour to come through for a deck that, well, for a suit, shall we say, that can be quite challenging. So I'm liking that a lot for you. Let's just take a couple more, and then we're going to move on to some oracle cards, get some clarification. 7 of Swords. Goodness me, it's just all swords all around here. And Page of Coins. Finally, we've got some money. Good. Good, good. And I want one more 6 of Wands. Okay, so finally all the suits managed to show up eventually. And that may be the message here. Oh, well, it showed up eventually. It took a while to get here, but we got there. We got everything we wanted. We finally got that new offer that was the right situation, the right working hours, the right money, the right location, the right, it could be hybrid, working from home, working remotely, the situation that you wanted, the deal that you wanted, the terms of employment that you were looking for. So you will get all of those elements, I feel, even if it takes a little bit of time to get every single one of them. But you are moving on up, whether it's one change of job or more than one. Now, there is a little bit of a warning that comes in with the 7 of Swords. The 7 of Swords is about theft. It's the thief in the night. It's about deception. So there is a little message here to be very careful. And I feel this could be coming from your previous situation. There could be an attempt by a previous boss or client, perhaps, to diddle you out of some money, or to make your life a little bit difficult as you're trying to leave. So I want you to be very cautious about that and very aware. Yeah, very, very aware to cover your back and make sure that you have everything that you need, because deception is absolutely there, but it's showing on top of the, to me, it's kind of in the recent past. And even if this hasn't happened yet, this would be in order of occurrence. So definitely a little warning there. And there's a little fire in the background, so do be careful not to get burnt. Yes, and I feel like there won't necessarily be much support from your previous situation for you to move on, because it looks like people are literally asleep. And in this card, you have people sleeping while there's a thief in the night stealing things. So these other cats here are very obviously sleeping in their loaf position. If you know what that is, you're probably a cat owner or a cat lover. But they're fast asleep. They have no idea what's going on, and they're not going to help you. So it doesn't feel like there's a lot of support for you to move on. You're basically going to have to do this all by yourself. But that's fine, because you're perfectly capable of doing that. But it might feel a little bit disheartening if there are people that you considered friends, who are colleagues or people that you work with who were not as supportive as you were hoping they would be. And that's partly from jealousy and partly from complacency, I would say, because they are literally asleep in this card. And there's going to be some envy, because I feel like you're moving on to bigger and better things that they just don't have the bravery or capacity to do. So that's a shame, but these things happen. It's part of life, isn't it? So Page of Coins, this is good. Finally, we've got a money card coming in here as well, talking about money. And 6 of Wands. Okay, so great. 6 of Wands is success after a long battle. So with the 6 of Wands and the 6 of Swords, I can see you've really earned this. You've worked for this. You've worked to get yourself to this position. It could have taken you some time to get here. This could have been decades, years, decades in the making, this change, this shift. And it does feel like a new level of financial success. With the Page of Coins, I want to put you on a new level. Page of Swords and Page of Coins together. So we've got 2 pages here. So it does feel like something new, unprecedented for you, possibly where you have to learn. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do book learning, that you have to learn more about the job. It may be just working at a new level, being a higher level employee, or being a more respected person in your industry. And that's going to take time to adjust to. There will be a mental and emotional adjustment to this new position, this new role, this new contract, whatever it is for you. But I see you shining like a star, because look at this. Look at this. I'm loving this. And this eye is evoking the eye of Horus to me. So there's great wisdom here. And I think you'll be able to shine like the star on the page of coins, to shine and show exactly why you're worth everything that you're being paid for this role, because you absolutely are, or for the next one. And you've worked very hard to get here, and there is recognition, finally, for all of your hard work. Beautiful recognition coming in here. I feel it will be financial compensation, but there could also be some sort of publicity for you. I mean, that could be as simple as just a post on LinkedIn, or it could be some sort of award that you might be up for soon. Certainly for somebody, there's awards coming in here, award ceremonies. So look out for that. That could be fun. That could be interesting. So overall, this is a very interesting evolution in your work life that I'm seeing for you. So like I said, regardless of whether you own your own business, you're a freelancer, you're an employee, this is the general progression I'm seeing for your energy. So we're going to pop these away. I'm going to get some oracle cards out, and we're going to see what else they have to say. Alrighty. Okay, so we're back with the Energy Oracle. I've already had 4 cards fall out the top as I was shuffling, so we are going to keep those, see if any more want to come out. But as I was shuffling these cards, I suddenly got some mantra coming up in my mind, and it was David Premal, who I really like. And I can't remember the name of the mantra, it's eluding me right now, which is really annoying. But it's like the first one on the album that I have from her, and it's about Saraswati. And I just thought that was really interesting. So if I remember, I will put in the, or someone can ask me in the comments what it was. I'll look up what the track is, because I can't look it up right now because I'm recording on my phone. So I can't really do that. It may come to me, but it's a really gorgeous mantra. But that's coming through very strongly. So there's a connection with that mantra there. So if I remember, I'll write it in the description for you guys. So what do we have here then? We have the garden and the gate. Yes. The world, hostilities, and strategy. Wow. Okay. I've seen these in a recent reading I was doing for someone else, actually about work. So that's a very interesting. And I shuffled these. I always shuffle the cards back in when I put them away, so I never just lump them in. So they should never be in the same positions. And I've definitely cleared the energy, so that's very interesting. This is obviously a theme in the collective right now. And of course, this is a timeless reading, so this theme is appropriate for you whenever you're finding it. Now, I love the garden and the gate, because it is always about moving on to pastures new and about overcoming fears of staying within the known and going through the gate into the unknown. Because look, this is a beautiful garden that's all cultivated, very safe, very gentle space, gentle energy. But this little girl is stood there with her basket of flowers, and she might not be so little. She might looks like she might be a little bit older. And she knows it's time for her to follow the butterflies and perhaps leave and see what's beyond this hill, see what she can find. And you notice the landscape looks a lot more wild out here. Or perhaps it's used for grazing animals, but it's a little bit misty as well on the horizon, so you can't really see where it's going to go, and we don't know what's over the other side of the hill. But I think that's kind of the point, is to leave the known behind. However beautiful it is, it's a very beautiful cage at this point, and at some point we have to outgrow this cage and move on, outgrow the skin, shed our skin and become something bigger, and better. Yeah, very exciting. And with number 30 here, so that's a very interesting number to come up. 3 is the divine blueprint. So at 30, we have an opportunity to create a new blueprint. All bets are off. We can create something completely new and different using our experience. But it brings a whole load of potential as well. And the potential is the world on 29/11/2. So some real wisdom coming through here. Very powerful energy from your guides who are guiding you here, but also from your own soul higher self. Your own wisdom is leading you forwards, and it feels a little bit with these 2 cards like the world is your oyster, like you have the opportunity to do something bigger, better and more exciting. But coming from a place of wisdom, from a place of knowledge, with these gorgeous white lily flowers and the lily pads here. Well, I'm saying lilies, I mean they might be lotuses, I don't know. Either or, the symbolism is still there for you, the purity of the spirit helping you to make these decisions and showing you that a new world is possible, that things you haven't seen before. Because if you look at our planet here, it's half in shadow and half in light. So again, it's what's beyond, what's in the darkness here, what haven't I seen before, what do I have to discover, what is new, what can I create, what can I co-create with the universe. So the hostilities card, I find this an interesting one, and I don't know who this is supposed to be. I don't know if artists use actual models or just sort of amalgamations of people when they do these pictures, but this person, if you look at their face, always reminds me of the actor that plays Tom Paris in Star Trek Voyager. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if you're a Trekkie like me, but I totally see it. I always think that when I see him, which is weird because he's a natural blonde. And he definitely doesn't look like this anymore. He's not thin anymore, poor guy. But he's getting on, you know, we let him off. So, what's his name? Robert Duncan McNeil. I think that's his name. Robert Duncan McNeil, I want to say. So any of those names could be relevant here as well. We're going to do letter tiles in a minute as well, and we'll get some confirmation there. So if we can get some names, which could be names of colleagues, bosses, clients, companies. It could also be initials of companies as well, so that would be useful to give you some insight here. So on 26-8. So there is some struggle coming through with 26-8, but look at this sword. Looks like it's made of lapis, the crystal lapis lazuli. I think I have some here. No. Where have I put my lapis? I have so many crystals everywhere, I swear. It's ridiculous. I got a piece of lapis. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. Stay with me. Stay with me. Well, that was a lie, clearly, because I have no idea where it is. Oh, no, here it is. Here it is. I knew it was here. It's on my other desk, which is where I do most of my personal readings for people, so I apologise. So this lovely blue, deep blue indigo crystal that resonates very strongly with the third eye, with the pineal gland. It's great for channeling, great for wisdom. So I feel like you'll be guided by wisdom to fight any battles that you need to, and I think you will be victorious because you are being led by your intuition here. Much as it's the mind that's made the decisions, the intuition will step in to support you in case of difficulty. And look, he hasn't even put all of his armour on because there's a helmet down here. It's not like he needs all of his armour right now. So I don't feel like it will be any kind of big dispute. It would be something that you would be able to resolve quite easily, quite quickly, without too much trouble, and coming from a place of wisdom. Not making trouble for the sake of it, you know, really trying to avoid the battle if you can, but making it clear that you're not going to back down if they try anything. And this could be a previous employer, a previous boss, you know, previous company, previous client. But it's like if they try anything, it's not going to go anywhere. Really nothing to worry about. Okay. Interesting if we look at the trees, because it looks to be autumn getting onto the winter here when we look at the colour of the leaves on the trees here. So this issue or this problem could come about in the autumn time, which is now if you're watching as I'm uploading it, or it could be at another time in the future. And it could cost you a little bit of money to sort out this problem, because if you look at the clothing on this person, I'm not even sure what you would call that. It's not a skirt, Helen, don't call it a skirt. On the dude's skirt, oh shit, looks like coins. Because I know it's armour and I know it is almost like a fish scale shape, or probably leather, but it looks like coins. It looks like gold coins to me, so it looks like being protected by money. So it could be that because you can afford a lawyer, people won't try you, okay? Or make it clear that you're prepared to spend the money to defend yourself if necessary. And I think that will be very helpful. So our last card here is Strategy 21-3. And just looking at the 7-pointed star in the middle of the journal here. So we've got a compass, we've got some coins, So a quill as a little, what's it called? Eyeglass, telescope. That's the word. I know how to speak English. And then a key and a lock up here and some scrolls. What is this scroll? That's sheet music? Huh. Interesting. I've never noticed that before. This is something I love about doing readings. Something different will pop out at you from a card that you've literally never noticed before, and you've had the card for years. But it only shows up when it's ready, when it's necessary. And some splashes of ink down here. Like I said, this is something that you will be planning or will have planned for yourself, and it does require some strategy. It's not straightforward. As I said, there is some deception that we saw earlier. Somebody might be trying to do you out of some money or cause problems for you. And that theme coming up again with the hostilities. But again, it's nothing you can't handle, but you will have to be strategic in the moves that you make and the decisions. And I want to say bold as well. Being bold, being an explorer, being a trailblazer of some sort as well comes to mind here. Sorry, getting some water. I've been losing my voice a bit the last couple of weeks. I had a bit of a cough and my voice is just very weak at the moment, so I don't know what's going on there. Okay. One of the reasons I haven't done any videos for a while because my voice has just been a bit off. So, right, next we're going to get some cards from this deck, which is the Art of Intuitive Alchemy Toracle, the symbolic language of self-discovery by the amazing Joules Rain, a good friend of mine. If you'd like to acquire a deck, I will put a link in the description below. Let's take, oh, okay, that one's coming out already. Connection. Interesting. Let's see what we've got here. I feel like we're taking 3. One off the top, off the bottom. Excellent. I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay. So we have the Emperor. That's definitely a card we want to see when we're talking about business and work. So I'm seeing good fortune here, but also moving into a more powerful position, perhaps a managerial or a higher management position for some of you, a well-respected position, being able to do the right thing and being able to command the respect that you deserve. This big old crystal up here, it's definitely coming in with this gorgeous red and pink. So it's being very practical, but also coming from a higher place, coming from the heart. So we've got the symbol of Aries here in the middle, so forging forwards, being proactive, being bold, being a winner, but also not forgetting other people. With the contrast of the red and the pink, I want to say taking bold action in the physical world but not trampling on others. That's very powerful, very noble energy here. So a reminder not to trample others, but I don't think you would anyway, would you, Part 1? Doesn't seem like you. 0 Point, the void. Yes, and I was talking about that new blueprint for your life, that new design for your life, the new lifestyle coming through, being designed from nothing, something completely new and different, rearranging the pieces as they of the puzzle as they suit you rather than how it was supposed to go in the beginning. And there's this kind of electric feel here. Look at these, looks almost like streaks of lightning coming through, this divine inspiration being guided by higher wisdom. And we've got the planet Saturn up here as well, very, very powerful. And Saturn can be a hard taskmaster. You know, he can be really strict with us and he won't take any nonsense. And it could be that you're about to have a Saturn return. So your Saturn return happens every 28 years. So the first one's at 28, the second one's in your 50s. I can't remember how to do math, but you can you can calculate that and see if you're going through one of your Saturn returns. That could be a theme here for sure, and that could have thrown everything into question for you. That could have made everything feel very unstable in your life. But very, very powerful. Powerful change that has the potential to bring great riches, great success, I want to say. But it's very important that you do it in a moral way, that you're not acting in any sort of immoral way, stepping on other people. And whilst I don't think you would, I think it is very important just to clarify, to confirm that here. Yes, don't be tempted to step on other people, because there will be people around you that do. And you need to maintain that moral high ground, because energetically, spiritually, that's very important for your path as well. So we have the connection card here. Absolutely gorgeous. This one says connection, priestess. Love this duality and freedom. Yeah. I feel that's where you're going. You're going to experience higher levels of freedom within your work life. So whether it's that you're able to cut down on the number of hours that you work, there's greater freedom. It could be working from home, working remotely, working hybrid, moving to another country and being some sort of digital nomad, you know, going where it is you need to go and doing the things you need to do in the way you want to do them, if that makes sense. So there's definitely a lot of freedom with the feathers on this card here as well. And all of these gorgeous colours as well. So much opportunity and so much potential for you to build this new life for yourself, and also bring in an element of your spirituality, I want to say, into your workplace as well. Bringing that into the work. It doesn't have to be shared with other people at your work, of course, or that you're working for, but it does feel important in somehow. So it may be that it does actually become part of your work. Obviously, it's part of my work whenever I'm doing freelance work, obviously. But it may be for you as well, even if your job is incredibly mundane in that respect. It could be that elements of spirituality start to sneak their way in. You're finding ways to weave them into your day-to-day so that it does become the norm, because that is a big shift, a big change that I've been talking about for a long time now, probably for about 25 years. I've been talking about finding new ways to work, coming from higher aspects of self and integrating that into the world of work, because the world of work we have at the moment is incredibly backwards. It's very ancient, it's very dogmatic, patriarchal in the worst ways. So it doesn't include the feminine, except in artificial and very forced ways. And I feel like you're going to be a little bit of a trailblazer in that respect. You are going to be, as you're part of your wider spiritual path and your spiritual plan, you are going to be helping people to include more of their spirituality within their work, within their day-to-day, and find ways to weave that in so it's not just push, drive, strive, as Chrissy would say. It's working for the common good and for bigger and better things for yourself and for others simultaneously. Gorgeous. Okay, let's get some tea leaves, and then we are going to do letter tiles and chants. Where are my tea leaves gone? There they are. Big bag of tea leaves. But Helen, those are cards, not tea leaves. I know. This is the tea leaf deck. I'm going to shuffle them a little bit. They're quite hard to shuffle. They're very tricky. So, ooh, such a big deck. This is challenging. I've handled a lot of cards in my time, and this is a bit of a challenging one because they're all round and they're all very slippy. So we're going to get some tea leaves here. All right, I'm keeping the lapis there because that seems appropriate. So tea leaves for my pile once. Oh, you want to come out too? Okay. And that one. There we go. Oops, didn't fall off my desk. There we go. Wind chimes, peace and harmony. Yes, that does feel like a theme that is possible in your work life, even if you haven't had it up until now. I feel that's something you're going to be working towards. And for some reason, I've got a dinosaur. I know that's a leaf, but it looks like a dinosaur in my tiny mind. So there's a connection to dinosaurs there for some people. Okay. Or for somebody. Turkey. Someone is behaving stupidly. At work? I can't believe that. Yes, that could be the troublemaker that obviously you're going to overcome without any problem. Older man. Okay, so dealings or relationship with an older man. So there could be an older male who helps you in this situation or who hinders you. Feather. Someone you know is undependable and insincere. Yes, so again, we're getting it's interesting, the person behaving stupidly and the one who's insincere. Both of those cards are around the older man. So he could be the problem. He could be the issue here. Pin, new job and career. Yes, Fantastic. That's great confirmation there. Dog. Protection from a powerful friend. So the protection is here right next to this troublemaker, our older man troublemaker here. Door. Opportunities are waiting for you. Yes, they absolutely are. And the dog's going to help you get there. Grasshopper. Situations in the balance that require careful handling. Yes, there is a little bit of conflict and careful handling to be done here, but you've absolutely got this. October, interesting. So for some of you, this change could have started in October, could have happened in October, or could be about to happen in another October. And finally, we have tulip, which is great passion. So I think you're going to be very passionate about your new role, about what you're moving into, even if it isn't the first change, if it isn't the first new position or job that you go to, it could be the second, but it takes you in the direction of your passion. I think that's very, very exciting. Okay. Let's pop our tea leaves away. Let's get some letter tiles to see what confirmation or messages we can get there. So we could get names of people. So they could be a colleague, they could be a boss, they could be a company, could be initials of a company. Let's see. Oops, got a few there. Lovely. L, T, E, A, C, oh, T. That's very important in the workplace if you live in England or the UK. C, oh, maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're going to teach. Okay. I kind of want to put the L there now. Y, I, that's quite a strong message for somebody. L, so who's lying? E, all right, somebody's lying. T, I, U, C. Isn't the TUC a teachers' union? Or it used to be. Oh, that came from the depths of my memory. Right. So, E, M, L. For some reason I want to say Tate and Lyle's, and I know they make like sugar products. They sell like sugar and golden syrup and stuff, so there could be a connection there for somebody. MLP, E, O, O, G. Ah, maybe you're moving back to your OG company that you used to work for. R, oh no, someone an ogre. U, and we're going to get one more. Okay. Another U. You again. So yeah, it could be a return somewhere you've been before, because you again. Love it. Okay. Alrighty. Interestingly, I've got 5 by 5 here. I've picked 5 rows of 5 tiles. And 5 being the number of the mind. What I was saying about it being a very logical decision and being led by the mind here, but guided by the spirit, that comes through very, very strongly. So Lyle could be name. I've looked to see if there are any initials of companies that you're looking to work for or looking to get away from in there, because that can be confirmation as well, or any words. It doesn't always have to be a name. Sometimes it can be a word. Like teach. Maybe it's time for you to step up and be a CEO. Look, maybe it's time for you to be the person in charge. So that's quite exciting. Okay, so I'll let you take a moment and look at that and see what comes through there for you. I get the name Malcolm coming through, which is interesting because that's actually one of my guides. It's one of his spirit guides. He's very much there. And his surname was Passingham. So there could be the name Passingham or some iteration of something similar to that, I feel, for somebody. You might be working for a bank as well, because I'm seeing Pru. Do you remember the Prudential? Called themselves the Pru at one point. God knows who they are now, but they might be part of another company altogether. I can't keep up. I don't try to. Lucy. Yannick. Chloe. Pele. That's interesting. He's a footballer. I imagine that's also a name generally. Was that is it a Portuguese name? What country is Pele from? Somebody help me out here. I don't know about football. Okay. I'm getting quite a lot of international names coming through as well. I've got Piotr, is it Piotr? Is that how you say it? It's kind of like Peter, but Eastern European. I keep hearing Iliup in my mind, and I don't know what that means. So maybe that's for somebody. Is that Greek? Puce. That jumps out at me. That's the French word for flea. And it's also the French word for a computer chip. So that there could be a connection to computer chips. And it could be connected to France or a French-speaking country or person. All right. Okay. All right, so I think we're about done there for you guys, my pile one. I hope that was helpful. I hope this will help you moving forwards in your work life, in your business. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment and let me know which bits resonated for you, because I absolutely love to read your comments, and I do read them all. So please do comment. If you feel drawn to pile 2 or pile 3, please do, of course, watch another pile. I will see you in the next video, and you take very, very good care of yourself, and good luck. Hello to you, my pile 2s. You chose this gorgeous black crystal stallion. I call him a stallion. That's what he is to me. And I believe this is obsidian from memory, but I might be wrong, so don't come at me. So black crystals are always very protective. They absorb negativity, very, very powerful. So you may have a need for protection at this point in your life, at this point in your career or your business. And stallions are very powerful and very protective, but also very gentle with the ones that they love and the ones that they protect. Could also be a very clear connection to Lloyd's Bank with the black stallion. So that could be a connection for somebody, or possibly Wells Fargo if you're in the United States. So I was also drawn to my snowflake obsidian, which is actually in this, it's actually a vinyl plastic ball of some kind. I love this. I found this in a charity shop. Such a random find. I found like 3 or 4 crystals. They had more of these, but I only picked the ones that resonated. So I picked up this gorgeous snowflake obsidian. So obsidian's definitely coming through as a crystal for you, but this is the snowflake variety, which according to the Crystal Bible here, feel free to take a screenshot of this page, but it is we can put it on the sacral chakra, but it calms and soothes and puts you in the right frame of mind. It's very helpful for getting rid of unhelpful thought patterns that are going through your mind, you know, unhelpful beliefs that are false, perhaps about yourself or about other people, negative things you might have been told that aren't true. So there is certainly a sense of needing to think right here, if that makes sense to you. Interesting one. I'm going to pop this out of the way because it's kind of big. Pop the snowflake obsidian back in my bowl over here. So the tarot deck I have for you is Grimalkin's Curious Cats Tarot, which is one of my favourite because it's got lots of Bedfords in it, lots of Bengal cats. And if you look inside the lid of the box, it says slip beyond the veil on silent cat paws. And doesn't that look like Bedford? For those of you who have seen him, yes, Bedford is my cat. He is a Bengal. He may or may not make an appearance at some point during this video because he just went outside. He was asleep up until now, and he's just gone out to wreak havoc on the neighbourhood, I'm sure. So, all right, let's have a little shuffle here under the watchful eye of our black stallion and see what the messages are for work, career. So what's coming up next for you in work and business and career. So you could be an employee, you might be unemployed, you might work for yourself as a freelancer, you might be a business owner. We'll see what messages we get here. You might even be somebody that volunteers. You may not work for money, you may work just to help others. Okay. King of Cups with a beautiful shell next to my lovely shells over here. You might have seen I've got a new shell over here. This is a new cowrie shell. I've always had a thing for cowrie shells. Absolutely, this one's a stunner. I got this in a charity shop. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous leopard pattern there. Again, very, very appropriate. Five of Swords. Queen of Swords. How am I going to arrange these? Okay. Page of Pentacles. Okay, got a little bit of a repeating theme here from pile 1. So there might be some messages for you in pile 1 if you're drawn to it, but only if you're drawn to it. There's quite a strong masculine energy coming through. And I mean masculine energy. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're a man or that you identify as a man or that anyone is a man in this situation. It's just masculine energy, which is the yang energy, which comes through with certain specific traits. To do with power, dominance, fighting, you know, it's the typically male traits that we think of. It's that energy coming through. Okay. And interesting that we're starting with a king here as well, but we've got a king and a queen, so very, very interesting. So we're talking about people specifically here in this reading. So this is interesting. I'm going to start with the King of Cups here, which is our first card. So the King of Cups generally is a very balanced person. He could be a manager, he could represent you in the workplace, or somebody in a little bit of authority, your manager, your line manager, your CEO, for example, managing director. Very in touch with his spirituality, this particular king. But he also wants to grow his business because we've got this little chrysalis up here of a butterfly or a moth that's waiting to hatch. But very much in his fields, in his feelings. Lots of fish here. There could even, for some people, be a romantic connection with a boss or a colleague here. And this could be actually why you may be thinking about making a change at the moment on what you may be asking about, for example. But there is a message here that there's plenty more fish in the sea because there's lots of fish here. So you may have had an unsuccessful relationship or one that ended in a way that you weren't happy about. Or perhaps was forbidden, you know, maybe it wasn't allowed because of your company policy. Depending on the industry you work with, that's quite common. Yeah. But look what we've got here, because the sea on this side is really quite turbulent, and then the sea over here looks a lot calmer. Really stormy skies up here. So this does speak of arguments, of disagreements, of choppy weather, shall we say, difficulty, struggle in the workplace. But despite that, I think you've always been underpinned by your own moral compass and by your own spirituality, but your own heart-centered personality. You are somebody who genuinely cares about others and tries to do the right thing, even if things are difficult and even if you're not sure how to do it exactly. And that seems quite important. But you may also have a manager with that kind of good attitude as well. So I want to say this could represent you or them, or possibly both, some people here. Now, when I say manager, it could be a client, obviously, if you're self-employed, if you're a freelancer or a business owner. And with the Five of Swords, now this is a very interesting Five of Swords, because let's just unpack this picture a little bit, because there's a lot to see here, and I love this deck. So, Grey Cat here, who is Bedford's nemesis, if you follow his channel, and yes, Bedford has a channel, I will link it below, or you can just look up Bedford the Bengal, that should take you to his YouTube channel. He has a lot of videos. There is, I think it's actually 2 grey cats that live opposite us on the other side of the road, in a cul-de-sac. And he seems to make it his life's purpose to chase them and absolutely terrify the life out of them. So we rarely see them anymore. And I've joked many times that Grey Cat is his nemesis. Although I think it's actually 2 different cats, but we've never seen them together, so I'm not sure. I've just noticed they had different collars. I was like, wait a minute, that was a pink collar and that was a blue collar. I saw them both on the same day and I thought, oh, it must be 2 cats. So I thought it was 1, could actually be 2. So again, that could be a message for some people there. There could be 2 people that you thought was 1 person that you were dealing with, and it's actually 2. Anyway, maybe they're twins. Maybe you are. So Grey Cat here has his sword, and he also seems to have confiscated the dog's ball. He's got a tennis ball here. The dog's over there looking a bit dejected with 4 swords pointed at him like a threat. Basically, this is how Bedford terrorizes the neighbourhood. So, and there's a rose on the table. So I want to say there is a possibility of reconciliation, but it looks like you may have had a bit of a falling out with someone, but you've absolutely come out on top. And that may be unexpected because you're a little cat and that's a big dog. But if you know anything about cats and dogs, you probably know that cats generally come out on top in any kind of battle with a dog. It's usually the dog that gets its arse handed to it or gets injured. Okay. It's got a lovely soft bed here as well, whereas the dog's lying on the floor. So it could be that you had some sort of squabble at work, or it may have been some sort of leadership contest or rivalry, perhaps, because it doesn't look too bad. But it does look like you had to take the other person to task. It does look like you had to get serious about this. And I notice how the room in the background is very grey. So it looks like stepping out of grey into colour. There was a change here, stepping away from the mundane into something. It made you feel more vitality. Yeah. And with the rose here, again, I want to go back to a possible romantic connection. So this could be about a romantic connection gone bad in the workplace or in business, which could be very challenging. And it could have been very painful with the swords here. Yeah. Or it could just represent conflict in general in the workplace. But I do see, although you've still got a sword here to protect you, I think you've got everything under control. Or if you haven't yet, then you will have everything under control in the future. Okay. And you've sat on this soft bed and you've confiscated something that your enemy very much values. So to me, that represents bargaining chips. It could be a literal thing, a literal position, but it's definitely, you have a very strong position when it comes to bargaining or making deals. So that's nice to see. But I can see why you have this protective stallion here looking over you, because it looks like you haven't had the easiest time. So Queen of Swords, yeah, definitely not the easiest of times, especially when it comes to romantic connection. So again, this could be a romantic connection in the workplace, or it could be connected to one, or a friendship even that's gone bad. It doesn't have to be romantic. Yeah. Lots of red on here down at the bottom. So looking back, I think you've experienced quite a bit of turmoil in the workplace, or maybe you're still going through it and that's your future position. You're going to find yourself in the position of the Queen of Swords. Now, she can come across as a little bit jaded when she's not stood in her power. But she's also been there, done that. She's the older woman. You can't pull the wool over her eyes anymore. She's kind of seen it all, heard it all. She's not about to fall for anyone's nonsense. So there is a sense of feeling older and wiser here, I think, having seen it all before, not falling for anyone's nonsense. But there's also a sense of passing here as well, because she's on like this white marble bench here. Feels almost like a grave who's got white lilies there as well. I'm not sure what you call these flowers, but to me it's evoking chrysanthemums. I know they're not chrysanthemums, don't come at me. And chrysanthemums, it's quite funny. I used to live in France, as you might know. And on All Saints' Day, so the 1st of November, they would take chrysanthemums to the graveyards and they would put all of these plants out. And at a certain time of year in October, we'd see all these chrysanthemums for sale. I remember my family were like, oh, isn't that nice? There's all these lovely chrysanthemums. Shall we get some? No, they're not actually supposed to be for the living. They're supposed to be for the dead, apparently, which we didn't know. Because to us, they're just, oh, lovely flowers. But in France, it's traditional to take them to the graves, which is interesting. So there could be something connected to a passing or a death or a metaphoric death, shall we say, of something or a company. Especially with these like red flowers evoking poppies at the bottom here to me. So that's all around the beginning of November, isn't it? So 1st of November is All Saints' Day, and then obviously the 11th of November is Remembrance. Yeah, I think this year it was the 9th because they do it on a Sunday. They have a Remembrance Sunday, but it's like remembrance of war, remembrance of struggle, of battle. So there could literally be a connection to the military here. I was picking that up earlier when I was talking about how relationships might be forbidden. And I thought, oh, they're often forbidden in the military, aren't they? So it could be a military connection here for some of you. But then we look at the top of the card and we've got this magnolia in flower. And magnolia is a very curious tree because the flowers will appear before the leaves do. And that's usually quite early on in the springtime. So I want to say there's a connection to early November, but also to spring. So these could be two different times where important things are going to be happening for you. But I want to say here, beware of people draining your energy and of taking things behind your back. Because if we look here in this corner, you see the, I don't know if you can see the like little swirly patterns. To me, they look like snails. There are these very pretty snails that we have where I live, which I think they're actually a protected species, and they've got this gorgeous yellow and brown spiral on their shell. And snails will eat everything in your garden, and they don't care. They will just take from you, okay, unless you stop them. So there is a warning here, certainly, to guard what you have, guard your position, keep yourself safe. Like the Five of Swords here, this cat, grey cat, has his sword. You've got to cover your back. Certainly a message of covering your back, the necessity of other people taking from you or taking advantage of you, or literally stealing clients, stealing resources from you, or people in maybe in your own department, in another department, taking things that were supposed to be for you or that you had ordered or booked. We've all seen it. I'm sure we've all seen it. Wait a minute, I booked this meeting room. Oh yeah, sorry, I need it now. No, that's not how this works. Oh, I thought you wouldn't mind if I just borrowed some of these folders. No. I ordered those, I need them. I mean, it could be something that petty. To be honest, I'm getting very petty energy with some of the swords here, but nothing that you can't handle, but you will have to stand up for yourself, speak up for yourself, and metaphorically mark your territory, I want to say. Page of Pentacles. Quite a gentle, slow energy with the Page of Pentacles. We are talking about money. We are talking about, this is a money tree. Look, this one, the pentacle seems to be almost growing on the tree. The little cat's holding it up here. Again, we've got more poppies, more of these little birdies. Kind of look like look a cross between a red cardinal and a sparrow. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be. You could be in a situation with the Page of Pentacles and the One Pentacle here. You could be in a situation where your business may be quite new, or your position at a company may be quite new or quite junior, and you're still building your career up, or you're still building from a position of less power, shall we say, less power, less influence, from a more lowly position. You're still building yourself up, but you are reaching higher. Oops. See, the cat is reaching higher to the coin. He's reaching for what he wants. So there is encouragement here to keep going, to reach for what you want, to work for what you want, because you are capable of getting it, and you're capable of defeating those who would try to prevent you or try to take advantage of you. I mean, they may be taking advantage in a very lazy way that's just really annoying and eats away at your energy, eats away at your success in that way, which is really unnecessary, because there's no need to do that to somebody else. That's just lazy and selfish to take from someone in, in small ways that chips away at your energy or maybe your confidence and makes you think you can't get anywhere. But it just comes from selfishness. I don't think it's anything personal with the snails. I don't think that particular issue is anything personal. This one is. That's definitely personal. That one's not. So I want to say, if it feels like everyone's against you at your company, they're not. They're just arseholes. Oh my. Well, that was unexpected. Thank you, Spirit, for that message. Okay. Four of Pentacles. Yeah, hold on to what you got. I've got that song in my head. Let's hold on to what we got. Don't sing, Helen. Five of Cups. Don't want to get a strike for breaking someone's ears. Right. And Justice. Yeah. Okay, so Five of Cups came out in our previous reading. Oh, got my blanket on the floor. Oh, dearie me. I have this blanket on the back of my chair, and it's like my medicine blanket. It's Navajo style. Always falling off the back of my chair. I should probably find somewhere else to put it. Okay. So if something keeps happening, it might be time to make a change, because doing the same thing over and over again is the definition of madness if you're expecting a different result. And I keep putting it on the back of my chair and expecting it not to fall down. So I put it on the arm of my chair now. Maybe that'll be better. We'll see. Okay. So with the song that was being evoked here for me, about holding on to what you've got, and it is about a relationship, so it could be about, again, a romantic connection or not. It depends on your individual situation. But this cat's trying to hold on to the tails of 4 mice so they don't run away. That could be tricky. And there's the city in the background. So this kind of implies like a city job, maybe in London or a big city or in the central business district of a city. I want to say possibly in finance or in stocks, the stock market, something like that. That could be a connection for some people. Or maybe you have to travel to a big city to do your work. I don't. Not doing that. Sod that. Okay. But it may be that you're trying to hold on to too much here. Maybe you're struggling to hold on to everything and you're worried about losing out. Yeah. I want to say don't feel like you have to cling to everything because you've absolutely got this. The universe will always provide. There will always be enough for you. Don't feel like you have to cling on to everything because some things just aren't going to serve you. It might be time to let go of one stream of income, for example. And you may already know that, but you may be worried that that's not the best course of action. So I just want to say look at it carefully because it may be okay for you to let go of something, even if right now it's a bit of a cash cow for you. Because we are talking about survival here with the red poppies. All right, and look how stressed this cat is. It may be necessary to let go of something, whether it's a client or a stream of income, just for your own sanity. And it won't be the end of the world. The 5 of Cups can feel like the end of the world, but it's not. Okay, and this may be in the past for you. You may have already had to do that, remember, because everyone's at a different stage on their path, and this is a reading for lots of different people, so it's always going to be interpreted slightly differently for you. So remember to take the messages as they make sense for you in your life. Some of the messages may not be for you at all, so just leave those behind. But the 5 of Cups is disappointment. It's like, oh no, 3 cups have fallen over. What am I going to do? Well, let's not cry over spilt milk because you've got 2 so full over here that they're running over. Again, I mean, the 2 of Cups is evocative of a relationship to me, and my cup runneth over, very happy and joyful relationship. So it might be a case that you have to leave a job so you can be with someone. That could be the crux of the reading here for some people. And I know I keep coming back to that. And that's definitely not the case for everyone. Okay, or it might be a friendship that remains even after a job has finished, for example. A disappointing situation may have finished, but you've still got this wonderful friendship to move forwards into the sun. This gorgeous sun disk over here of wisdom, I want to say. So coming up, this may be present, this may be past, maybe near future, leaving something behind. So not grasping onto everything every morning, letting go of something, leaving it behind, even if it feels a little bit disappointing, it feels a little bit unfair. But regardless, there is a fair outcome here with the Justice card. So it does feel like even if you have to let go of something, something else will come in to take its place. The balance will be retained for you between the goldfinch and the blue tit. They probably do weigh a similar amount, actually. They're both little dicky birds, aren't they? And justice is wise and justice is blind. But you will be safe. You will be okay. A fair outcome is assured for you here, regardless of the steps that you have to take and what you are guided to do. So it may be a little bit of a struggle for you, or it may have been a bit of a struggle for you recently. And yes, it might feel a little bit disappointing. There may be something to let go of, but you still get something else that's very important, even if you let go of this. Because I feel like a lot of this is going to be out of your control. Okay. And sometimes we have to let go of something for our peace of mind, which is more important than just some job or some stream of income. We can make do. We can find ways around it. We can find other streams of income. So let's just ask what else is coming up here in work. Because I feel like there's something better coming. Yes. Knight of Pentacles is on his way. He is very slow energy, but he is steady. So new opportunity coming in financially. And this could be literally a new job. It could be a new stream of income, a new client, but a very steady and permanent change coming in financially, bringing in financial improvement. May come in slowly, but it's very reliable income, I want to say. Moving into the summer here with these gorgeous sunny flowers. They look like marigolds, maybe. These actually remind me of like courgette flowers or squash flowers. And we've got the pumpkin there, so they probably are intended to be squashes. So summer, late summer, moving into autumn, I feel there's a new opportunity coming, or one that will start to bear fruit, shall we say, in the late summer. Again, a connection to October, November with the pumpkin, the squash, and we had that connection already. So that's a timing connection for you. So I would say that that's a time where something material will happen or appear for you. And we've got this lovely horse here. So horse is a beast of burden. And we've got a horse theme here already for you, haven't we, part 2? So horses are very loyal and very strong, okay? And they will help you. So it feels almost as if a connection comes in to help lift the burden, to help carry you in the workplace. This could be a colleague, it could be a piece of technology, you know, that helps lighten the load for you, that does some of your donkey work, shall we say, some of your physical, well, not necessarily physical, it might be physical. Maybe it's a new vehicle, depending on what you do. Maybe it's a new member of staff, a colleague, someone who lightens your load, physically or metaphorically speaking, so it could be literal. But it does bring in improved financial prospects for the longer term, which is very, very positive. That's very nice to see. Knight of Pentacles is a very good omen for you here. Yeah, it could be working with somebody new, perhaps moving into a partnership with someone, perhaps. Because when we ride, obviously we are in partnership with our horse. We work to get together. We give the commands and they do the donkey work, shall we say, or the horse work. Seems a bit disrespectful to say donkey work, but you know what I mean. They do most of the physical labour. Not to say that riding isn't physical, because it absolutely is, my goodness. And caring for horses, again, very physical. So that, I mean, you could literally be somebody that works with animals or with horses, or with horse symbology coming out there. So again, Grey Cat's coming out on top. He's got his new ally, his new friend. He's got rid of the traitor and he's got his new friend. So that's lovely. All right, so we're going to put these away and we're going to get some oracle cards out for you to see what other messages we've got about what's coming up in work for you. Let's put these away. So the first deck we're going to work with is the Energy Oracle. All right, so what messages do we have for my parties today? What's coming up in work? Community, envy, journey, the world, and the garden and the gate. That's interesting. These two came up for pile 1 as well. So again, I'm seeing some parallels with pile 1. If that resonates, you might want to go and check that reading out. Alrighty, so a big part of this reading is the people that you are working with, because we have the community card and we have envy coming through here. So I do feel that people have been a bit of a problem for you in the workplace, or maybe they are currently, which is a shame because I can see that you are actually well liked, but it feels like it will be time for you to go on a journey soon. So it could be about you moving away from an existing work situation, or at least letting go of one. Maybe you have several clients or streams of income, as I said. Maybe you have more than one job. It may be time to let go of one of them, because there is the journey card here, which indicates that travel is necessary and choices as well, new choices. But yeah, beware of somebody who is envious. And this could be the dog that we had at the back of the card earlier, the dog and the cat that had obviously been fighting. So I feel any issues may be caused by jealousy of others, but I think people actually know who you are, and I think you are quite well respected regardless. It's just a case of having to cope and deal with them in the meantime, because it doesn't feel like you've had the support that you should have. These kind of feel like fickle friends, like work friends who are nice to your face but don't really put themselves out for you, if that makes sense. And I feel like there's a whole world out there which could be better for you. There could be better choices out there, getting away from people who are dishonest or just don't have your best interests at heart, because they're too busy doing their own thing or fluffing their own ego. It feels like there's a lot of egos, whoever you're working with or for. There's a lot of ego, there's a lot of drama, just feels a bit unnecessary for some of you. And it is time to make a change with the journey and the garden and the gate. So time to leave the known, which is this beautiful garden, and this girl is here and she obviously knows this garden very well, tends to the garden very well, so she's good at her job. She's excellent at what she does, but I feel like she's gone as far as she can with this, and it's time to go out and discover what is outside, what is beyond this hill, what is out there, where the butterflies are going to lead her. And then it comes in with several different choices. So that feels quite nice. It feels like you could have several choices, maybe changes of direction, maybe changes of what you do, changes of clientele, change of location. It feels like there are going to be a lot of options for you, but two main ones, I want to say. But leading on to bigger and better things, which is really quite exciting. I was going to take one more and I got told no, so we're not doing that. But it is time to choose better for yourself, and it is a choice. And I'm going to remind you that sometimes we take jobs because we have to do it out of desperation because we need the money, we have to keep ourselves afloat, and there is nothing wrong with that. But I feel like this time around, that's not how it's going to go. This is going to be a choice because you want to do it that way. This is going to be an intentional choice. Okay. But lots of choices need to be made. I feel there's more than one area of your life where that is necessary. I've got number 30 here, and 30 is about new beginnings, but it's also about a new plan for your life. And it also comes with a huge amount of potential with that 0 there. And the 3 is your divine blueprint for life. So it could be that you're moving on to a new phase of your life, a completely different stage, that you've completed one task, shall we say, on your spiritual path, that you've completed some specific karma that you were working through, and now it's time to move on to something bigger and better. Very exciting. Okay, let's move on to our second oracle pack. So this is the deck by my gorgeous friend Joules Rain. She's done all her own artwork. This is her own deck. Link is in the description below if you would like to acquire a pack of these gorgeous cards, and I do recommend them because they're amazing. I don't just say that because she's my friend, because they're amazing. Ooh, Oceans of Peace just came flying out there. And it's another number 30. Look at that. They're really, really pushing the message of number 30, of the new blueprint, the new design for life, something completely new, with unlimited potential of the 0 number. And 0 is really quite a controversial number, and it has quite an interesting past. Now, I'm going to show you a book, which I have behind me. Which I definitely have behind me. Where is it? Stop hiding. The book's hiding. That's ridiculous. 0 was quite a controversial concept when it was discovered. Okay, because we haven't always had 0. All right, 0 is quite a new discovery as numbers go. And that might sound weird, but if you think about it, well, if you read about it and discover 0 wasn't always known about. It was a new concept at some point, and it was quite a dangerous concept as well. And the number 0 was actually banned in some cultures at one point because it was considered too dangerous a concept for people, which I find fascinating, of course. And I apologise if my sound's going weird because I keep looking away from the camera so I can look for this damn book. And it's called... Hang on, let me just pause. Here it is. It was hiding from me. It's funny, I can always see it from my other desk, but from this position I just couldn't lay my eyes on it. So by Charles Seife. 0, the biography of a dangerous idea, which is a book that I'm reading at the moment. Very, very interesting and controversial number. And look at this, the way 0 is written here. Doesn't that look like the Zen symbol? And yes, of course, there's a connection there. I don't say that for no reason. Yes, 0 was considered a very controversial and dangerous number at one point, and I find it fascinating. And it is, in numerology, we're taught that the 0 is the void. It is unlimited possibility. It is God at the beginning of the book of Genesis, before anything's been created, and everything is possible, and anything is possible. And it comes in with great possibility, and a whole new life and a whole new lifestyle may be something that you want to consider or work towards. And we've got these gorgeous shells, oceans of peace. So yes, the waves of peace crashing over you. And I want to go back to the first card that we had, the King of Cups, that gorgeous cat in his shells, sitting in the sea. You may have noticed I have a lot of shells. If you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I'm part mermaid, so I always have my shells, and I use them to censor things on cards that might get me YouTube strikes, so we call them my censor shells. But that's not what we're doing here. There's nothing to censor on here. But the beautiful spiral of knowledge, this inner journey to greater knowledge, that's what you're going on right now. That's what's coming in for you. You've got the word peace here. It's a great journey of inner knowledge. And I think in some ways your peace is going to be far more important than certain clients or certain streams of income. And that's certainly going to be a big theme for you moving forwards in your life. Sunshine, lovely, and the wheel. So there could be an unexpected opportunity coming in with the wheel, but the wheel is certainly talking about change, changing cycles, the end of a cycle, the beginning of a new cycle. And with the sun, I want to say there's something very exciting and new that will present itself to you within your life, whether it's formal work, it could be you discovering your vocation or having more time to actually do it, or actually just getting out into the sunshine, getting out into the fresh air a little bit more. But it's a very happy, joyful energy with the sun. Or it could literally be moving to another country or working in another country. Maybe you'll get an offer from Dubai, because this looks like sand in the background here. Maybe you'll get an offer from somebody in the Middle East or a nice hot country where you can go and do something, or telecommute. That's quite exciting, quite interesting here. The Alchemist's Muse. Wow. Yeah. 54-9. Yeah, there's certainly a big change is necessary in your work life. And the change is necessary because you're growing spiritually. And your needs are going to be different. They're going to look different moving on. And I think that might be one of the reasons people that you work with maybe don't understand you, don't get you. That's why you might be very different. You might feel very left out from certain things. It's not that people don't like you, they just don't get you. All right, because you're not one of the crows that sits around and gossips about other people. You get on and do things, and you have a higher calling. And it feels like this higher calling is going to come more into focus in the coming years. It may have already come more into focus for you, of course, but it's going to become sort of front and centre as you move forwards, particularly over the next 10 years. This is actually quite a long distance reading we're getting here. We're going quite far into the future now, but really understanding life and death. And look at this gorgeous sugar skull. Again, Day of the Dead, 1st of November. That keeps coming up as an important date for you. It could be your birthday. It could be a date that's just symbolic, or that helps you, or something that actually happens around that time, around that date. So very, very important messages coming through. Again, sheet music. Did we have that in? That was in pile 1. Sheet music. Music is important. Very important for you to help you move forwards. Maybe that's part of your path, part of your career. Interesting. Ooh, okay. Maybe it's time to get on the stage. All right, I'm going to get some tea leaves out for you now. These little tea leaf cards. We're going to get some of these, get some messages for you. Okay, about what's coming up in work. These are very interesting little cards. Oh. Let's see what we've got for you here. Oops. Don't fall off my desk. I don't have enough room in here. Right. Casket. Somebody going out of your life, or the end of a situation. So again, that could be the end of a work liaison, or it could be the end of a contract, for example, and someone who kind of needs to go. You're done with them. February. Interesting. So month of February coming up is important. Chair filled. Someone new is entering your life. Yes, I feel that connects to possibly to the Knight of Pentacles, where I said somebody's coming in to support you. Cobweb. Protected from negative forces beyond your control. Yes. There's a lot of protection here for you. Wishbone. A wish is granted. Yeah, it does feel like you need to move on to things that you actually want to do now, at least in some capacity, even if you can't do that 100% of the time. Carriage, a journey, either physical or mental. And this is what I was talking about, literally moving on. It could be a physical move. It could be, a house move that's coming up. Lots of changes, lots of movement in your reading for sure. Oh, my candle's gone out. Hat. You will be playing a different role. Yes. Yes, definitely. I feel there's big change coming in for you here. Your career might start to go in a very different direction, or you might change to choose to change career, not change to choose. Oh my goodness. Quill, get back to the basics. Yes. Desk, pay attention to your work, and look at the quills on here. So it feels almost like doing something that's more for you. So pay attention to your work. And I said about you not being involved in gossip or whatever it is, and just doing the things that you need to do. And it's telling you to simplify your life here, not get caught up in unnecessary projects or extra work, you know. But yes, there's definitely something new coming in for you here if you want it. Dog close up, pleasure with a close friend. All right. And arrow, you are on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. So yes, you already intuitively know that you need to follow this new path. Okay. And you're getting there. And arrows indicate speed as well. They move quite fast. Obviously, when they're shot from a bow, they move very fast. So I think there could be some very swift, more forward movement here that you may be seeing, possibly from February onwards. So that's very, very interesting. Okay, so we're going to put our tea leaves away, and then we are going to get our letter tiles out. And the letter tiles are going to give us names, words, initials connected to the workplace or people that you work with or companies. Let's see what we've got here. All right. And don't worry about the candle that's just gone out because it's reached the bottom. It's burnt itself out. And I feel there could be a stream of income or a job that's just burnt itself out. It's just come to an end. It's come to a natural end. It's time to throw it in the rubbish. Okay. Time to get rid. That's okay. When something's gone, it's gone. Put it in the bin. A. Oh, it's a blank tile. That can be anything. E. D. Isn't an AED a defibrillator? Is that what it's called? That's what I'm thinking of. I'm seeing a defibrillator on a wall here. So you might actually work in a medical field, or maybe you work somewhere with a defibrillator. That seems quite common now. F. Z. V. Getting some cool letters today. I. Maybe you work for a beauty company, because I'm drawn to, is it Aveda? Aveda? There's Aveeno as well, which is wheat-based, no, oat-based product for sensitive skin. That could be a connection. So you might work in pharmaceuticals, in skincare, in beauty. TG. You might work for TGI Fridays. Is that still a thing? Oh, another blank. Look at that. The blank slates coming through. That's really quite powerful. That's zero energy there. A. Offering you a blank slate. Where would you like to go? What would you like to do? E. U. E. UAE. United Arab Emirates. Maybe there's an offer coming in from out there. P. O. R. I want to say guapo, el guapo. Maybe there's like a heartthrob or something in the office that's the person you need to step away from, or maybe that's the person that you and them need to step away from the company or working situation. It's like whoever it is, they're a bit of a ladies' man, or I don't know what the female equivalent of that is. O. L. H. A. F. Okay, so I feel like some of you might work for the automotive industry. There's a connection coming in there. I'm seeing olds. Although there isn't an F, that's just what my guides are giving me. So let's see what else we have. You may be able to spot some initials or names that jump out to you, or words that jump out to you. So I've got half here. Maybe you're in a job sharing situation, or maybe you work part-time somewhere. Okay. Maybe you work on the stage or on the television, because I'm looking at TV here. Maybe you're a TV repairman or woman. There's a connection to agriculture as well here. Some of you might work on a farm. I get the word port. I mean, that could be the beverage, or that could be a literal port. Maybe you work in Portsmouth. Is there a Portsmouth in America? Someone tell me, because obviously I live near OG Portsmouth, which is in Hampshire. But I know a lot of places in New England in particular have taken a lot of the names of places from my kind of area. So tell me if there's a Portsmouth in the States. Somebody put it in the comments for me. Tea. Tea came up in group 1 as well, which is hilarious because, of course, tea is very, very important in the workplace. If you've ever been to the UK, you'll know that. We run on tea, basically. If there's no tea, there's no work getting done. Okay. I'm liking the potential here. Now, these could be any letter that you want them to be, and there's 2 of them, so that's a huge amount of potential here. Very interesting. I get the name Mira. I have the word polar. So, I mean, that could be literally to do with the North Pole, or it could be something to do with refrigeration, or like clothing, winter clothing. You know, like flasks or clothing, or things that are tended to keep things very warm in the cool weather or very cool in the warm weather. Yeah. Okay, and see what you can see there for yourself as well. So I hope that was helpful to you, my partos. I wish you all the best in your future, and the Stallion does as well, and he's always here to support and protect you. So call out to the lovely Black Stallion when you need his help. Okay, I'm going to leave it here for you guys. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the links in the description below if you want any of the information that I've told you about today. There are also some interesting links from some of the other groups, so there might be something that catches your eye there. I will see you in the next video, and in the meantime, please take very good care of yourselves and best of luck on your career journey. Hello to you, my pile 3s. You chose the gorgeous Ocean Jasper Turtle. The turtle is a creature that comes in with great wisdom, spiritual wisdom. They can live a long time. They know their way around spiritually and physically speaking. They can be a great guide when you need to travel as well. Very wise, very ancient creatures. So the tarot cards I have for you today is the Tarot of Curious Creatures. I love this one because it's so weird. So you might be somebody who's a little bit alternative, a little bit, shall we say, weird. I reckon, you know, I resonate with that word. It's not insulting. It's not rude. Okay, we could have our outcasts might be in this deck, in this group. All right. Our weird and wonderful friends. Okay, so let's take a look for you. So we are looking at work and business today. We're looking at what's coming up for you in the workplace. Whether you're employed, unemployed, you might run your own business, you might be CEO, you might be a business owner, you might be somebody who just volunteers. Not that there's anything just about volunteering. Yeah, it's not just your volunteering, but you might be somebody that volunteers and doesn't get paid for your efforts, in which case you're even more valuable. Okay, let's take a little looky. What have we got for my pile 3s? We have the 5 of Swords making its second outing today. 2 of Swords. I tell you what, there have been a lot of swords so far in all my readings. They've had a lot of swords, which is interesting. I mean, I guess it makes sense because we are talking about the workplace, but 8 of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, ooh, Queen of Swords. I'm just going to bring in one more because it wanted to come out, but we'll bring that in a second. So, goodness me. Feels like, I mean, 5 of Swords is about conflict and about struggle. And look at this cat-headed lady who's struggling fighting a mouse. And it looks like a very mismatched battle. Looks very unfair because he's so much smaller. But she seems, I mean, the old archetype is a woman who's scared of mice. So it might be that what you're fighting against may look scary. You might feel like you're up against it in the workplace, but you can actually overcome. It won't be as difficult as you think it will. I feel like whatever struggles or difficulty are going on in the workplace, and this could be now, this could be recent past or recent future, and it will be slightly different for everybody. So take it as it makes sense for you. So difficulty, struggle in the workplace, battles, fighting, infighting, squabbling, fighting over the cheese. Who gets the biggest piece? Who gets the best clients? I feel like you're quite capable of dealing with this regardless, because it's only a mouse that's threatening you, okay? And you've got a big broom so that you can field the tiny, tiny mouse foils that he's trying to attack you with. Some of this might be a little bit underhanded as well. So I feel like could be a rival at work, or just generally a rivalry because of the industry that you work in, perhaps. And some of it's a little bit underhanded because look at his foil. I'm calling it a foil because it looks like the sword you use for fencing, which I would call a foil. It's putting it under her skirt. That's kind of rude. There's no need for that. That's below the belt. We don't do that. All right. That's trying to embarrass someone. So someone could be trying to embarrass you, or they might have embarrassed you in the past. And this cat, she is not happy. She's hissing. She's screaming at him. Okay. So possible betrayal in the workplace, or struggle because of people just making things difficult, and it's just so unnecessary. And then we get to the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords is about making a decision, a conscious decision. Staying on the cat theme here with, I want to say that's a jaguar. I'm going to say jaguar. That could be a connection. But knowing that we have to make a change, but really not being sure which way to go. But it has to be a logical decision here, because we're in the suit of swords here. We're in the suit of the mind. We're trying to work things out with the mind. We are trying to make the right decision and not be swayed. And like justice, we have our eyes blindfolded. So we are trying not to be swayed by things that are irrelevant. We're trying to be very just and logical and firm but fair in our decisions here. So a decision needs to be made. And I feel like it may be time for you to literally move away, walk away from a place of work, from a client, or from something where there's a lot of combat, a lot of struggle and difficulty. And the Eight of Cups is literally about walking away. It is the breakup card. It is the walking away card, leaving something behind, even if there's a lot of emotion there, even if there were some big emotional ties here. Look at these strings coming from the giraffe's dress onto these cups, and it feels like it may feel like a little bit of a wrench. So there may be some people that you leave behind that maybe you don't want to. That might be why you've stayed. Maybe you work for a company in some capacity. You might be a freelancer, you might be an employee, but you stay for the other people that you care about, I feel, or you have stayed for the people you care about, but it's time to move on. You have to leave them behind, unfortunately, and that could be making a decision about the future of your work or your business quite difficult, because there are emotional connections involved in this whole situation, making it hard, even if there's other people who are troublemakers. Yeah, and that's a rat, by the way. That's not a mouse, that's a rat. The rat's trying to make off with all the cheese. There's a metaphor for you. Right. But the good thing is if and when you do move away from this toxic situation, there's a whole new beginning here, a whole new positive beginning that comes in with the Ace of Pentacles, a whole new positive financial beginning. So it's a very concrete thing because we're in the energy of earth, we're in the energy of pentacles here. Pentacles are coins. They're about money. They're about growing your finances, growing your business. They are about success and a steady path forwards. Even if it's winding, it's a very steady path to walk. It's not a marsh. It's very safe. Safe and exciting new opportunities coming in that are lucrative, that may involve hard work, because we have a bee here. Bees work incredibly hard. And of course, worker bees are all female. If you didn't know that, doesn't that make sense? Male bees exist for one purpose and one purpose only, and I'll leave that to your imagination. So I do see a new promising opportunity on the horizon for you, or maybe it's already come about. Maybe you're already there. Of course, it will be different for everybody, because this is a reading for lots of different people. So take it as it makes sense for you. Yes, very interesting. And stepping into the energy of the Queen of Swords. So I feel like your mind will be very valued, your experience, your knowledge, your wisdom will be very experienced in this new opportunity. And this could be an opportunity that's coming to you a little bit later on in life with the Queen of Swords as well, because she's been there, done that. Or you may just be very experienced, even if you're a younger person. You may just be have an old head on young shoulders, shall we say. Moving into very empowered energy here as well. With the peacock feathers, I want to bring in the energy of the goddess Hera, so Zeus's long-suffering wife. Boy, was she long-suffering. He put her through hell. He made her life very difficult. He was always going off shagging anything that moved. You know, talk about betrayal. And she was trying to do the right thing. You know, the goddess of the hearth and the home. So it could be that you've suffered a lot of betrayal at work, and so that could put you off from a new beginning. Maybe that's something that you're struggling with at the moment. Maybe you're struggling with a decision to move forwards because, well, maybe this one will just be as bad as the other one or worse. And that's a common fear, but it is unfounded, I want to say. There is a very positive opportunity for you. Let's bring in the last card here. Two of Wands. Again, it's about choices, but it's also about planning for the future. So I want to say, we've got another cat wearing red high heels here. So I want to say it's time for you to plan what you want to do, because you absolutely can do it. You've got the lock and the key here. You've got all of the materials that you need. You've got all of the skills that you need in order to have this new beginning, in order to do something new and go in a new direction. I think the only thing holding you back here is you and perhaps fear. Realistically speaking, a new start is absolutely on the cards. A new start is possible if you want it, if you're prepared to take the steps to go for it. And it may be that maybe you need some emotional support with that. You know, maybe you need a counsellor or a careers counsellor or just a therapist or something to work through some of the difficulty. You know, if you've got some old wounds that are coming up that you feel you're struggling with, which could be connected to the work, or they could be a little bit older than that. You know, maybe you've been bullied in the workplace and you need a bit of emotional support with that while you work out how to move forwards. You know, maybe you're having to sue a previous employer or previous client right now. You may be going through a situation where you're going to an employment tribunal, as we call it in the UK, which is basically a court for employees to go to if they're suing for, you know, unfair dismissal or something like that. That may be something you have to deal with. And again, that can make it feel much more difficult because there is this struggle, this battle here, but a definite need to move on, but wondering how to do it. So maybe that's one of the decisions you need to make, or that you have made. So, because there is an energy of feeling tired. But it's not the first time I've seen the Queen of Swords today in these readings. She's already shown up. She was in pile 2. Was she in pile 1? I don't think she was in pile 1, but she was definitely in pile 2. So there could be a connection to pile 2 for you as well, if you feel drawn to watch that one as well. That there could be some messages for you in pile 2. But certainly there is a need to kind of grasp the nettle, I want to say. The decision may be painful, it may be difficult. So when we grasp the nettle, we're trying to grab the nettle so it doesn't sting us. If you something I learned to do a few years ago is how to pick nettles without getting stung or without it hurting. It still hurts a bit, okay? Sometimes it doesn't hurt at all, sometimes it hurts a bit. But if you work with nettles for a long time, which I have done with my hedgerow herbal studies, you get used to it and it doesn't really hurt, and you learn how to pick nettles without going, ow! You know, don't feather the edge of the leaves, that hurts like hell. You've really got to grab the thing and be very firm with it and take it off, and it's much less likely to hurt you, and it won't hurt you as much, if at all. Or you can just get some very thick gardening gloves like I have, which I do like to use, but I don't tend to have them when I'm out and about and I see some nettles and go, oh, I'm just going to pick those. And I'm terrible for that. James will tell you, my other half will tell you. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to get some of he's used to it now. He's used to my nonsense, but he knows that I will carry one of these in my handbag. And I think this is actually from some shells I collected, which is why it's in my office. Needs to go back in my handbag for our next adventure, obviously. But sometimes it will be, oh, those nettles look nice. I'm going to pick some for dinner and then I'll make a soup. So that could be a connection for someone, because I'm literally going off on a tangent about herbs and about foraging and natural food. Nettles are very powerful. They're also very good. They contain a lot of iron. I think they've got other vitamins in them. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I think is it C and D or something, or E. I forget. Look it up. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but certainly have a lot of iron. They're very, very nutritious. And they just kind of taste like spinach. They just taste like a green vegetable. They don't taste unpleasant in any way, shape or form. And of course, as soon as you cook them, all the sting is gone. So you can just add them to soups or just make a soup based around nettles. If you want my nettle soup recipe, ask me and I'll send it to you. So, okay, let's pop these away. Grasp the nettle. It's time to be brave, I think, and make a bold move, but for your own good. And it may be quite scary. It may be something that you've been avoiding doing with that unclear, uncertain energy of the Two of Swords there. But the Two of Wands is showing you that you can make this decision and you can plan for your future and you can have what you want. You just have to choose it. Okay, no one's got your back up against the wall. You can choose. You are free to choose. You can do this. So let's pick some cards from the Energy Oracle. Oops. The Temple Path. Cornucopia. Nice, we were just talking about food. And Broken Heart. Oh, yeah. I do feel like there's some healing needed for you, Path 3. I feel like you've had a bit of a tough time of it. Maybe in life generally, but certainly in the workplace. It hasn't been very fair to you. Got the Man Holding a Coin and the Thinking Woman. Interesting. Okay, pop those to one side for a second while we have a look at these. So, yes, I feel like there is a spiritual journey for you here as well. A spiritual healing journey, certainly with the Broken Heart card. You may have had a very bad time, and that could be a very, very recent thing. And this could be you are having to take legal action or sue a previous employer or client. Or colleague. There's something very messy and very painful here that needs to be resolved. But it is part of your path, and ultimately it's going to help you go in a different direction, to follow this spiral of wisdom in the grass here. And a spiral is a spiritual journey, but because it's a spiral, it will never lead you astray, unlike a maze, which, you know, there are blind alleys that you go down and false starts. A spiral is a consistent path that will take you where you need to go. And this beautiful little temple here reminds me of Stourhead, actually. If you've ever been there, it's a National Trust site. Absolutely gorgeous. I went there a couple of months ago. Lovely. And there are all these temples as well. It's a very esoteric place, and I don't think half the visitors realise what they're looking at. Anyway, yes. There's a new opportunity here. You're being pointed in a slightly new direction. But it comes in with a big dose of spirituality. So it might be that your vocation lies elsewhere to where you are at the moment. Cornucopia is wonderful because that is an abundance. It is the harvest. It's things coming in for you. It could be a windfall, literally. So you might be about to win a court case. You may be getting an inheritance or just benefiting financially from something in ways that exceed your expectations, that surpass what you were expecting. Very, very fortunate energy with Cornucopia, and very wise as well. Comes in with a lot of wisdom. So I feel like if you do come into some money or property or something like that, I think you will make wise decisions with it. You're not going to squander it, so don't worry. And I think it will help you as well to move forwards from whatever's hurt you. So, Man Holding a Coin, yes, and the Thinking Woman. So this is interesting. So somebody coming in with a new opportunity here for you with the Man Holding a Coin. Somebody with a lot of money and a lot of influence, I think, may want to support you in the workplace or in your business. Somebody coming in with a new direction for you, but with a mystical edge with 43-7. This is somebody who follows their intuition, and it feels it might be a bit of a Leo energy going on here with that hair. Might be quite tall as well. So it could be a romantic connection, or it could literally just be a work connection. But this is somebody who wants you to succeed. And if you look at the dragons on this coin, it's the same as our dragon from pile 1. So I want to say there could be a connection to pile 1 here for you. If you feel drawn to go to pile 1, that one's for you. But certainly this is somebody who wants to show you the good life. Somebody who wants you to play as big as you deserve. Someone who sees your potential, who sees that you should be doing something much bigger and better and more exciting than where you are, and being compensated for it as well. A thinking woman. So I feel like, I feel like throwing the card on the floor apparently. Look at the yellow butterfly, yellow flowers. Yeah, we're all up in the solar plexus here with the yellow here and the book. And I feel like this is you considering your options, but still playing a little bit small. There's a lack of self-worth here. There's a lack of self-esteem, which I feel needs to be looked at, needs to be addressed. And that could tie in with the broken heart energy here. Maybe you have childhood trauma that's unresolved. I think you play small because you don't realise how big you are. I don't think you realise what you can have in this lifetime. And I'm saying it that way on purpose because you know your potential, but I don't think you know that you can have it. If that makes sense. You know that your potential, you know you're intelligent, you know you're capable, but you don't realise exactly what that means in concrete terms on what you can have. And I think somebody's going to come in to show you. And it could be a man, it could be a woman. You know, it doesn't have to be a male. Yeah, you do feel like somebody who is very learned, who knows a lot. Maybe you've got a whole bunch of degrees, you know, or just a lot of experience, but you're playing far too small for who you are, spiritually, energetically. And that's not a criticism. That's just an observation, okay? There's no shade here. We don't criticise here. It's not what we do. Unless we're criticising people who are mean to you, in which case I'm always on your side. You know that. 47. Is 47 building the ashram? I can never remember because I haven't done that particular course of numerology yet. That's on my next one I'm going to do. But let's look at the numbers intuitively. So we've got 4 and 7. 7, the number of the mystic. 4 is the concrete world. So the mystic leading the concrete world. So yeah, there is a higher element of you that wants you to realise just what you can have in this physical lifetime. It doesn't all have to be, oh, well, I know I've got all this potential and I'm been told I'm clever and I can do things, but I never seem to be able to just pin it down and make it happen. I never seem to be able to actually manifest what it is that I think I deserve, or that I know I should be able to do, and I just can't seem to make it real, if that makes sense. And I think this is what this person, I mean, it might be a person, it might represent a company, or an influence coming in to help you. But if you're interested in manifesting, working with the law of attraction, there is, of course, my book, which you may have a copy of already. If not, link is in the description below. Dream Bigger, How the Law of Attraction Really Works. That is not a picture of me in a bathing suit, just for the record. And you can find that on Amazon, or the link is below. So, very interesting time for you. I think it's going to be pushing you out of your comfort zone. I think Spirit want to get you out of your comfort zone because they want you to realise just what you can have. And this isn't about potential. I hate the word potential because it's meaningless. All right, this is about what you can actually have, what you can do, what you can achieve in this lifetime. And I think it wants to show you that you can have more than you have had previously, or that you thought you were able to have, or that maybe you thought you deserved for some reason. Okay. So we're going to take some cards from this deck by my lovely friend Joules Rain, very talented artist, gorgeous cards, link in the description below if you want to get yourself a pack of these beautiful cards. Okay, what's coming up in work for my par 3s, please? Okay. Vive la vie. Yes. Empress. Divine Dance. Yes, yes, yes. I'm loving this energy. High Priestess on the bottom. Great wisdom. We've got all the aspects of the Divine Feminine coming through here. The Empress and the High Priestess. So the Empress being she who creates, and the High Priestess is she who sees. So there's very powerful Divine Feminine energy as an advancement in your own spirituality, but also being able to master how to wield your spiritual power in the physical world and turn it into what you actually want. And with the Divine Dance here, look at all these beautiful flowers. The flowers actually blooming, coming into flower, into fruit. What does that say? Sensual. I can't read that one. Feminine, sensual feminine, yes. Working in the sensual feminine. Perhaps stepping out of the masculine energy, because the world of work has been very, very masculine for a long time, unfortunately, and we've been stuck in this horrible, stiff, cold dog-eat-dog patriarchal system for so long now, which has kind of evolved over time. But the problem is that the divine feminine is making a resurgence right now. A divine feminine energy is making a resurgence because it's been repressed for a long time, so it had to happen. But the problem is, when women go into the workplace, as women entered the workplace a few decades ago, we were still told to act like men, and that's why it's not working for us. That's why we're burnt out. That's why we're not happy. Okay. Some women will find, a level of happiness and contentment in the workplace, but at the end of the day, nobody goes to work because they want to. Most people go to work because they have to keep a roof over their head and to buy food, and given the opportunity, they wouldn't. All right. So I feel like there is a new way of working potentially coming in for you, or maybe you will be a coach that will teach other people or empower women particularly. That could be something coming in quite strongly for you here. But really enjoying life with Viva La Vie, being able to live the lifestyle that you deserve, that you've been waiting for this whole time. I'm going to take out one of these, sorry about that, little angel cards from my little angel pot. Little angel message here. Vision. Yes. Vision. Vision your new world. Vision your new life. Follow your vision. And on here it says soul, sight, future. I mean, this could literally be a reminder to go and get an eye test, because if you look closely, the angel is kind of having like a spiritual eye test here. And that seems to be like you'd normally have letters up there on the chart, wouldn't you? But you've got words here. So a little reminder of who you are, to get things into perspective in your life, and to understand that there's more to this lifetime and more to your life than you've been able to achieve so far. There's a lot more to it, and there will be a lot more happiness, a lot more contentment, and a lot more sensuality, bringing in a very, very feminine vibe here. So it could be a complete lifestyle change for you. It could be that you choose to move into a very, very different role, shall we say, which may be formal employment, or it may not be. It can go in a number of different ways here. So very, very interesting energy for you, Pile 3. You could be a complete spiritual rebel when it comes to the workplace. You could go in a very different direction, or you could find a very spiritual and connected way to work in your current industry and to turn it into something more magical, more balanced, and more helpful for your clients and for the world in general. Absolutely stunning energy coming through here. Absolutely gorgeous. And it doesn't matter what you do. You could be a hairdresser. In fact, I feel some people are in this group. Got some hairdressers here. Hello. Yes, I would like a haircut. But a way of weaving your magic into it, weaving your healing into it. That's the new way of working that we're going to create. And we don't know exactly what it will look like yet, because we haven't created it. But you are a ground breaker. You are, I want to say, a soul breaker for some reason. You are somebody that bucks the norm, okay? And you're going to be coming into your own. And this is on the slightly longer term, of course, here. This is a little bit more of an esoteric message, so take it as it resonates for you and see where it goes. Yes, but there's something very connected to the divine feminine coming through here. I mean, you might be a midwife or a doula or something. You might literally work with women's health in some capacity. But there's certainly a need to bring the spirituality into the day-to-day, into everyday life. And I feel that's a big part of your path moving forwards. Okay. So what we're going to do now, we are going to get some letter tiles. I'm going to put these away. We're going to get some letter tiles, and we're going to look for words, for names of companies, names of people, for initials of maybe of workplaces or of colleagues. And we're going to get some messages there for you as well, just confirmation. See what we can see. Whoops. Oh my goodness. That was a lot. Okay, that's enough. J, T, D, L. I want to say limited. Maybe you work for a limited company. I mean, to be fair, that's a lot of people, but maybe you own a limited company. More importantly, maybe you're a director. O, H, S, I, N, Y, I. For some reason, Jackie Chan is in my head. The film Rush Hour, which I really like because I love martial arts films. You, big fan of Jackie Chan. but it could be a connection to Hong Kong because he's Cantonese, isn't he? R. I don't know if that's the right word, but he speaks Cantonese. God, I'm so ignorant. A. A link to Syria for some people here. E. Or you could work in a pet shop because Syrian hamsters are very popular, aren't they? EB. O. G. Maybe you're going to be a bog witch. That sounds fun. U. A. N. M. It's a connection to working with animals here for some people. E. Maybe you're a marine biologist, or maybe you wanted to be at one point. I mean, who of us didn't want to be a marine biologist in the 90s? Who of us didn't think that was a valid and logical career option? Thanks, 90s TV. Give me unrealistic expectations. I never got to work with dolphins. Why? And because you're a rebel, you're the only one that hasn't just got 25 tiles. You actually have 2 extras. So we've got A and E. I've definitely got my spiritual rebels in this group, for sure. Amy. Maybe you work for Korean Amy. That's very specific. Okay, maybe you work for the MOD. Or for a company that contracts for the Ministry of Defence. Sorry about my chair creaking. I must get some WD-40 on that. Okay. I got some Australians in this group for sure, because I'm seeing the word dingo. Okay. Let's see what names come out for me here. Of course, do have a look. I mean, you might want to screenshot this and have a good look at it later and see which names and initials come out for you. You could actually work in the military, maybe in the Navy. I've got submarine coming up here. Yeah, you may work, I mean, you may be involved in martial arts somehow. That could be the Jackie Chan link I was getting, but I'm also getting dojo. Sin, maybe you work for the church, or you have done, or maybe there's a religious influence in your place of work. That could be what's causing the conflict. I was offered a job actually one time to work for a company that was run by kind of like what I would refer to as a cult. They probably don't like to think of themselves as a cult, but to me they definitely are. And there were these really silly rules for women, and I was like, you must be joking. If you make me work there, I'm going to walk in on my first day with my biggest pentagram around my neck. This is definitely my spiritual rebels group. Hello, fellow weirdos. Okay. It's a connection to Nigeria here as well. So it could be where you're from. It could be where you work. Maybe your colleagues from Nigeria. I get the name Brown. Sarita. Game. Maybe you work in games or in gaming, and that could be computer games or board games or something else. Game management. I mean, you may manage deer, pheasants. Okay. Hunting. So you may literally have to walk through bogs. I live in the New Forest. Look, this is how my mind works, okay? Okay. You may work in mathematics, the field of mathematics or physics. Okay. Interesting. All right, well, I think that's all I have for you, my Pile 3s. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do remember to like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, remember to put all your notifications on so you never miss another video. Please share this video with a friend if it was helpful. I will put all of the links to everything I've talked about in this reading and the others in the description below. In the meantime, I wish you all the best in your career journey, and please take very good care of yourselves. Okay, bye-bye.